Alright, so solving equations. Hey, we've all solved equations before, right? Sweet. That's all we're going to do today, except now we're going to use imaginary numbers in it. Alright, when we were talking on day one, we were simplifying things. We did like square root of -4, right? It came out to 2i. When you are solving, however, we're going to solve where you should get two answers. Right? So let's look at the first one. X squared minus 10, x squared plus 10 equals 6. To solve that equation, I just subtract 10. X squared equals -4. Wow, it's weird. -4 pops up like I was talking about. How would I solve this? Square root it. We get x equals plus or minus 2i. We should get two answers. They can be positive or negative 2i. So when we are simplifying expressions, when we're taking the square root of -4, it says simplify, positive 2i. When we are solving, it should be both positive and negative 2i. Okay? Does that make sense? Do we all know why it's 2i? Do I need to show all those steps again?
No.
No, we're good?
Yes.
Okay, do you have a question?
No.
No? Okay, sweet. Let's keep going then. 2x squared plus 45 equals -5. Well, I'm going to subtract 45 to start. I get 2x squared equals -50. And that should divide by 2. X squared equals -25. And then how do I solve that?
Square root.
Square root both sides. X equals positive and negative 5i. Yes, ma'am.
Why is it positive?
Because no matter what I do, if I have positive 5i and I square it, I get 25i squared, which is -25. And if I have -5i and I square it, -5 squared is 25i squared, which is -25. Either one of those could be solutions when I'm solving. Okay? So it's both positive and negative. Cool? Alright. Let's try the next one. X squared minus 12 equals -32. Add 12 to both sides. X squared equals -20. Right? Well, Sarah, what should I do?
You do the radical, yeah, that's what.
The radical, the square root, right? Take square root of both sides. X equals positive negative
4
square root of.
Oh.
Remember, if it's not a nice perfect square, simplified radical form. What's the biggest perfect square that goes into 20? 4. So square root of 4 times the square root of 5 times technically the square root of I squared. Right? -1s you turn into I squared. We all see where those pieces come from?
Yeah.
Okay? So x equals positive and negative 2 square roots of 5 times I. Or you could write it as x equals positive negative 2i square root of 5. Either one of those will work. Okay, do we all understand where that comes from? Yes? No? Any questions on it? Yes, AJ?
On the test, does it have to be in a certain order?
Nope, either one of these would be acceptable. As long as that I does not sneak back underneath the radical. Okay? Alright. Last one on this page. Subtract 22. 3x squared equals -15. Tui, what do I do from here? Divide it by 3. Good. X squared equals -5. On this side of it. Miss Conroy, what do I do from here? Do the radicals, right? The square root. Good. Square root. X equals positive negative I squared 5, right? Because this would be square root of 5, square root of I squared. So I square roots of 5. Or you could put positive, negative, square root of 5, I. Either one of those works. Does that make sense? Guys, this problem here, why it becomes I squared root of 5?
No.
Right? Negative 1 turns into I squared. Square root of I squared is I.
Oh wait. Okay.
I is the square root of negative 1, yes. Okay. Any questions on that? Then we have 4 more problems and we're done already. We're already at 25? That's way too that's way too much time to just sit around for. Maybe we'll do extra problems. Maybe we'll do extra problems.
We can do our homework.
Alright. Okay, so solutions of the equation x squared equals 16 are positive and negative 4, right? We all know that. We're just doing that, we're just solving. Well, write an equation that has solutions of positive and negative 4i. What does that even mean? What do you talk to someone near you for 20 seconds? Come up with an idea. Oh, talk to the person next to you, not me. Tell her again.
Oh no, wait, you would do negative 16.
Alright. Who's got an idea for me? Great, Miss Culver, thank you.
Square it.
Square it. Just
Yeah.
that.
Positive or negative 4.
Thank you all for the laughs. That was very nice of you. Yeah, so what we're going to do, take positive and negative 4i, set it equal to x, right? And then square both sides. If I square both of these sides, I get x squared equals 16i squared. Well, should I leave my answer like that?
No.
No, why not, Miss Larson?
Because you have to do the I squared.
What do I got to do to it?
Negative 1.
Makes a negative 1, right? I squared turns into negative 1. So x squared equals 16 times negative 1, which is just
16.
x squared equals negative 16. Now, is that the only equation that would have solutions of positive negative 4i?
No.
Absolutely not. Right? Now, do you need to go any farther than that when making an equation? No. Keep it simple. Right? You can stop here. Now, you could change that equation by adding or subtracting or multiplying or dividing both sides by certain things. But we don't need to do that. There's no reason for that, right? So once you get to x squared, you should be good. All you do is take your solutions and square them. Okay? Like x squared plus 3 equals negative 13. That's the same as this. It'll give you the same solutions, but you don't need to do that. Keep it simple. Cool? Alright, let's try another one. Write an equation that has solutions of positive and negative 10i. Well, if I let x equal positive negative 10i, and I square both sides, I get x squared equals 100 I squared. Which is going to equal what?
Negative 100.
Negative 100. So x squared equals negative 100. I squared equals negative 1. I told you I'm going to ask you that a million times. Any questions on that? We good? Should we keep going?
Yes.
2 more. Write equation that has solutions of positive and negative 20i. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing. X equals positive, negative, square root of 20i. I is not under the radical, notice. It is not under the radical. Well, how would I do this one? Square both sides, right? It's still fine. If I square this side, I still get x squared. The square root of 20 squared.
20.
It's 20, right? The square root and the square cancel each other out. It becomes 20. So I get 20i squared, which is negative 20. Good. Very good. We have one more to do. As long as no one has questions on that third one. Miss Larson?
Are they always going to be negative?
They will always be negative, in this case, if we start out with I. Because I will always become I squared, which will always be negative 1. Now, I shouldn't say always, because if you start out with a negative under your radical or something like this, then it will end up being positive, because it will be like negative 20 times negative 1. Most of the time, they will turn into negative numbers. Okay? Alright, write an equation that has solutions of positive and negative 2 square roots of 5i. Should we do the same thing, you think? Probably. X equals positive negative 2 square root of 5i. Notice that I is not under the radical again. So if I go to square both sides, this becomes x squared. I am squaring all of these pieces. 2 squared is 4. The square root of 5 squared is 5. And then I would be I squared. Does that make sense how we just did all those pieces?
Yes.
Okay? Well, 4 times 5 is going to be 20. I squared is negative 1. So 20 times negative 1 will give me negative 20.
Wow.
Hold on. We have the same answer for those two. How's that possible?
Same thing.
They're the same thing, AJ. What do you mean they're the same thing?
Because the 2 will become like radical with a radical, and then it would become 20.
So the 2,
Yeah, I don't know.
I understand what you're saying, yes. This is simplified radical form, right?
Right.
This is the same thing as the square root of 20 if you take out the 4 and take the square root of it. So they're the same thing. So sometimes you will get the same answer when we write equations because some of them are in simplified radical form, some of them aren't. Cool?
Cool.
Any questions?
Nope.
That is the last new learning we have for this unit.
Alright.
That's it.
Yes!